For our coverage of Hurricane Charley, I'm Vivian Brown.
I'm Mark Mancuso. Charley, now a Category 4 on the Saffir-Simpson scale, and expected to cause significant flooding out across the west coast of Florida and up around Tampa. The National Guard has been activated.
And rightfully so. As you can see, our latest advisory, this is as of 4 o'clock, so just into us. It is coming on shore, getting closer and closer, of course, to the Fort Myers area, about 20 miles west-northwest of Fort Myers. Again, with winds of 145 miles an hour. It's moving north at 20.
I'll show you the radar right now. And take a look at this. The eye wall is coming right across Charlotte Harbor there, around Punta Gorda, and over towards the Port Charlotte area. That's where we're seeing the most intense rain bands coming on in there, and that's where we are most concerned.
And we have some very impressive video just in front to us from the Port Charlotte area in Florida. The area is getting hit hard right now by Hurricane Charley. We also have our reporter, of course, Donald Forbes, in the middle of it all with the latest.
If you're just joining us, we'll tell you a little bit about what we saw coming in. We drove in I-75 south, obviously. We were originally at St. Pete Beach. That was the original location for this storm. But when we heard it took a jog, we decided to come even further south. Well, we made our way to Port Charlotte, and I guess we couldn't have picked a nicer day to be here because it is really coming in now. We're told that the winds here are going to take this port water and actually push it out of the port. I don't doubt for a second it's going to push me out of the port. Oh! I tell you what, it might be easier if I'm down on one knee. This helps out a great deal. A lower center of gravity. At least they taught me in school. The winds are coming in, not feeder bands, not gusts. This is just straight line winds that are coming in here right now. Steady winds that are pounding everything in its path. My photographer pointed out something a minute ago. We're careful about all the debris around in case of flying debris. But we're worried about that boat out there. If the wind catches it, it could come up here as well. That's how strong we think the winds are out here right now.
Very dangerous scenario there, right around the Port Charlotte area, as those high winds come on in. And again, very dangerous just to be outdoors there, and hopefully he is in a very safe place right now with those winds.
I'll tell you what, let's go just north of the area to our very own Jeff Morrow. And Jeff, people have been leaving Tampa all night and so far this morning. Give us the latest from there.
Well, it's been so far so good here around Tampa, St. Petersburg, and where we are here in Pinellas County. Really, the hurricane hasn't caused us much problems at all. We've gotten a little bit of rain, but really no wind to speak of. There was a little gusty squall that blew through in the pre-dawn hours this morning, but that's been about it. If you look behind me here, you can actually see that the Gulf is pretty quiet out there right now. We're expecting it to kick up a little bit as the hurricane goes by, but so far, no big problems here right along the immediate shore. I think we can show you the radar here, and you can see where the eye has come in here around the Port Charlotte vicinity, slowly working its way to the north. Now, we're going to be on the west side of that eye. That means the winds here will be basically offshore or from the north, and that's not going to cause any kind of storm surge at all, which is definitely really good news for this area. I'm going to bring in now Lisa Hutchison. She's from the American Red Cross. And Lisa, let's talk a little bit about the folks that have evacuated, and they're in the shelters now. What should they be doing?
Well, they should stay in the shelters until Florida's emergency management officers tell them that they can leave. So we encourage you to stay in the shelters until the state tells you that it's okay to go. And even if you do leave, still pay attention to down power lines, debris, and especially floodwaters.
And a quick question for you. It's not only here in Florida, but you guys are prepared all the way up the coast.
That's correct. We're prepared through Georgia, South, North Carolina, and Virginia as we're watching this storm track up to the northeast.
All right. Thank you very much, Lisa Hutchison from the American Red Cross. As always, they're prepared. Now let's go to Dr. Steve Lyons with the very latest on Hurricane Charley.
Well, Jeff, the eye wall is in the bay, and it's moving to the north. You see Port Charlotte. This is Charlotte Harbor here. Basically what's happening is it's pushing the water northward. I hope that guy gets to higher ground we just saw on TV. He shouldn't be down there in the water with a Category 4 hurricane roaring up a bay. But what's going to happen is all this water's piling in here, and that's going to produce a very high surge locally in there. The good news is for Fort Myers, even though you're getting some very strong winds down here and heavy rain, the strongest surge is going to be up to the north in the Port Charlotte area over the next 3 hours, and then the core of the circulation is going to move inland. Now let's look at what we've got on what's going to happen wind-wise. Structural damage is possible right in that core, primarily in the Port Charlotte area, right in here in that core of strong winds. Possibility of some a little farther out in the Fort Myers area, but this is a very small hurricane. As it goes inland, that rapidly deteriorates. But it's going to remain a fairly strong hurricane as it moves across the Florida coastline, and it's moving quickly. And so we expect it to remain a hurricane all the way to the east coast and basically slide right up the east coast. So portions of Georgia, of course, the Florida east coast, and the Carolinas, particularly southern North Carolina, are going to be hit by some very high waves over the next 24 to 36 hours. Over the next 12 hours, as this system moves through, expect power outages and downed trees across the central peninsula.